During the summer of 2023, I came across reviews for an action film from Finland called SISU. After seeing all the praise the film was getting, I prayed to the cinema gods to bring this film to Japan. But because the film wasn't a big Hollywood production, the likelihood of the film coming to Japan, in my estimation, was slim. Thus, I offered more prayers merely as an exercise in keeping faith in the face of seemingly difficult odds. But then, while watching one of the many forgettable films from Hollywood during the summer releases of 2023 in Japan, a trailer for the film SISU was gloriously on display across the theater screen. Therefore, I made sure to offer gratitude to the cinema gods for generously answering not just my prayers, but the prayers of other filmgoers in Japan like myself. However, the question remained whether or not the film would be seen on a smaller cinema screen or on a large screen with today's blockbuster standards. Lo and behold, yet again, the cinema gods heard the prayers of the love for cinema here in Tokyo, Japan. SISU opened in Japan on October 27th and could be seen in Toho Cinema's Nihonbashi Theater 7, which features TCX extra large screen and fantastic sound. If you've seen the film, please continue to join me in singing its praise. But if you haven't seen SISU yet, continue on to see if this is a film for you. Without further ado, here is the SISU experience from Tokyo, Japan, courtesy of The Right Table. A war-ravaged landscape, a war-ravaged man, who didn't have to say the words that the war took everything he had. You could see that for your own eyes. In one beautifully constructed image, this man by himself, save his dog and his horse, sitting by a campfire as the night is settling in. He tends to his campfire, ignoring the fleet of bombers flying in the sky above him as an act of quiet defiance to the worst that other people could offer. SISU is this story about wanting to leave everything behind, but some people just won't leave you be. And the drive to fight and not leave without the things you've worked hard for. According to the Japanese pamphlet of SISU, the location for the film was conducted in Finland's Lapland region, which is considered the home of Santa Claus. And it is from here we have the setting of a barrage of action sequences that take the audience from ground battles to underwater battles and even aerial battles. In the tradition of action films from the 80s, SISU exemplifies the spirit of digging deep into one's being to unearth a strength of heart and will that won't break no matter what. As the opening of the film emerges from the screen, SISU is a Finnish word that cannot be translated. It means a white-knuckled form of courage and unimaginable determination. SISU manifests itself when all hope is lost. Set in the Finnish Lapland during World War II, the film follows a fictional legendary Finnish commando and gold prospector who attempts to secure his gold and defend himself from a German death squad led by a brutal SS officer. SISU is an action film in the 80s tradition of Rambo and Die Hard, but it has a style of its own, so much so that we could call SISU unique. Therefore, with all the praise the film is getting around the world, SISU in all likelihood could become an all-time action-adventure film classic like Rambo and Die Hard. With its stunning landscape and beautifully crafted cinematography, SISU is best experienced on a big screen inside an equally big movie theater. But what does make SISU a unique film? The most apparent point is that the hero of the film, Atami Korpi, played by Jorma Tomira, only speaks 2 short sentences in the entire film, but not anywhere at the beginning or middle of the film. In fact, only at the very end. To watch an entire film where the main character of the film says nothing could be grounds for an uncomfortable experience that could leave the audience leaving the theater before the film ends. But what the writer and director of the film does is something worth implementing in your own writing if you like to write stories yourself. The other notable point of SISU that makes it unique is how it introduces its main character at the beginning by not just showing how strong, skillful, or especially in the case of SISU, the character's will to persevere, but to also show what makes the main character cry tears of joy. I think the importance of understanding what would make the character cry tears of joy at the beginning of the film is that it makes the lengths of what the character will take to protect that thing relatable, as well as helping the audience to feel that the story is an emphatic experience. Then the audience could use the film as a metaphor for their own lives, despite its over-the-top yet fantastic and thrilling action sequences. Writer-director Jalmari Helander's SISU is a mastercraft in not just action cinema, but cinema as a whole. SISU is not just a work of art, but a prime example of the art of simplicity. As at the beginning of the film, informing the audience of the essence of the Finnish word SISU, being difficult to translate in another language, let alone in English, SISU, the film, is something that can't be put into words. Like the word the film takes its title from, it is something that is understood by the experience of it, rather than its definition that we can look up in a dictionary. SISU is directed and written by Jalmari Helander, starring Jorma Tomila, Axel Henny, Jack Doolan, Mimosa Willamo, Onni Tomila. Apologies if I have pronounced the names incorrectly. Cinematography by Kjell Lagerros, edited by Juho Virolainen, music by Yuri Seppia and Tuomas Wainolia.